My name is Lissete Montes de Oca. I've been a lot of things in my life. What I enjoy most about my life is being a mother.
Hey guys.
My husband and I had a lot of goals, and we worked endlessly all our lives to reach things that we wanted. Felipe was a very special guy. He loved life. I used to call him the man with a million hobbies. He had rollerblades and bow and arrows and fishing rods and guns, and he liked hunting, fishing, skiing, just everything.
He was just such a joyful guy. It was his attitude, his wanting to live every day, like if it was his last day. That's what attracted people to Felipe.
We met at a club. I was chaperoning my sister, and I was just standing there, and he just came up to me and asked me to dance. And he was just always so bubbly and happy, and we danced all night, and I didn't even like him. We dated for 4 years before we were able to get married. We couldn't afford much at that age because I was still living at home and he was still living at home, and he always wanted to make something of himself, but he was not good in school at all. But he was great with his hands. He was always very curious in trying to see how things were made. So he decided to start working in construction. Little by little, he learned the trade and started doing things, and then he decided to go on his own. One thing led to another, and they kept referring him, and wherever he would go, he would make friends. He loved having a family. He loved his boys and doing things with the boys and showing the boys how to fish, how to hunt, all his passions.
When I went to visit them in 1996, Felipe and Lissete had just purchased their first house, and I came by and asked them if I could meet with them, and I started informing them of how they need to start protecting their financial security as their family grows.
When you buy insurance, it's something you pay but you never expect to use. In my case, it's not about me anymore. I have a family to care for and continue.
It started with a small term policy, but as time progressed and their needs changed, I would keep coming back to them and making certain recommendations.
He educated and always looked out for our best interests and made sure that our family was protected. Felipe worked so hard so that he could have sufficient money to play and enjoy. So family trips was one of the most important things. And we had gone on vacation skiing, and he could not breathe. He was so out of breath, and he just couldn't catch his breath. We went a few times to the first day, and they put him in oxygen. They thought he was having a pulmonary embolism, and they did a scan, and it was nothing in his lungs, but he just wasn't feeling right. When we got back, his arm was hurting him a lot, and that's what took us to the hospital, the pain in his arm. And we just couldn't understand why they were keeping him so long. We have an amazing oncologist, and he told us, you have leukemia, AML. And pretty much I felt like my world collapsed. They tried all kinds of different treatments, all of the different doctors. They couldn't figure out what to do, and they knew that it didn't look good.
The day that he was diagnosed was a shock to me. This was my very first client that was going through a life event. I needed the support of the people in New York Life to help me try to understand it and how can I better help this family.
When Felipe was very, very sick in the hospital, he told me, I know you're gonna be okay, and financially you're gonna be okay, and the boy's future will be okay, and it will be taken care of. And that was his priority, because I know he was holding on to dear life for the boys, but he was ready to go. And spiritually, he was just ready.
Upon Felipe's death, my biggest concern now turned to Lissete. The role of an agent is to stay in touch with the clients, to understand them, and to see where there's opportunities where you can help them, especially when they're having a difficult time and having to deal emotionally with crisis.
I think Peter was an amazing family member, friend. He went more than above and beyond my expectations. Having someone that I could just say, you take care of it, I can handle this.
It's not the selling, but it's the delivering of the check, where I'm the only one who showed up with a check. Everybody else has shown up with a bill. Not only when I deliver the check, now what do you do with that money? How do you protect it? How do you make it last? That's where I draw my strength from in trying to help inform my people, the Hispanic community. And for that, I know that these boys are going to be raised in the manner in which Felipe wanted them to be raised, educate them, and give them the things that he didn't have the opportunity to do.
And that was one of the things. He just didn't want the boys to do without things and have a college education and provide for their future. And I think that's part of their adjusting that I think they're doing so well. We're able to keep our things, our house, our home, what we're used to.
And it's my promise to Felipe, as long as I'm here, I will look after them.
It's hard. We miss him. I expect him at home at 6 o'clock at night. But I think his legacy is just his kind heart. He was just a loving man, and at the end of the day, you know that whatever he did, it came from the bottom of his heart, and he did it with kindness.